Harry's wife. From Palace to Indianapolis. A cautionary tale. Hello, boys and girls. I'm your storyteller, H.G. Tudor, the Ultra. And today I have a cautionary tale for you all to remind you that if you are a naughty, terrible narcissist of the mid-range variety, things can really go downhill. Once upon a time, there was a quarter-black young girl who came from difficult circumstances. She was made to eat at Sizzler, or a TV dinner watching Jeopardy, or given sushi rolls, or dining in fancy restaurants, or eating at a Korean spa whilst naked and eating noodles, or hanging out on the set of Married with Children, dependent upon which story needed to be told. And this little girl always dreamed of being a princess, even though she didn't know what a royal family was, and had never been near Buckingham Palace, and had never watched the royal wedding between Charles and Diana, and never had any pictures of any of the people in the royal family ever, and didn't know what Google was. She tried to be an actress, which was quite ironic, because the way that she had been forged was to become an actress in everything that she did. But unfortunately, when she chose it as her profession, she wasn't particularly good at it. And sadly for her, the door was slammed in her face again and again and again, until one day Daddy Dearest and her former husband, Trevity Trev, helped her get some parts in TV and film, underpinning the fact that she was indeed a strong, independent feminist. But it wasn't enough, boys and girls. So, powered by her narcissism, she got on a yacht and sailed across the sea and met a prince. No, not that one. This one. And thus, with lashings of spicy poontang and false compassion, and pretending to be his dead mum, in a blink of an eye, she was married, and chose to have a £32 million spectacle foisted on her, where she never chose anything at all because she actually got married 3 days earlier. And she received millions of pounds of ill-fitting clothing, a staff of 14 to help her integrate into the most famous royal family in the world. She was given the assistance of an old hand, Sophie, Countess of Wessex, her own security detail, her own staff to assist with the running of an office in conjunction with her brother and sister-in-law. She was given a warm welcome by the British people, keen to see the monarchy modernised by the addition of somebody that had a different background to the standard that would be found within the royal family. She was given every courtesy and advantage, which was a wonderful thing for someone who'd only ever had the audition door slammed in her face and only ever been able to eat Sizzler, TV dinners, sushi rolls, fancy restaurants, being on the set of Married with Children and eating noodles in a Korean spa whilst naked. She was given a refurbished property to live in, and a doting and dozy prince to trot around and do her every bidding. She had access to platforms, prominence, status and wealth. She could attend royal tours around the globe and be met by lots of people waving flags and cheering her name. She could attend state banquets, dressing up like a fairy tale princess, and boring the arse of some poor bastard ambassador sat next to her. She could brandish patronages of charities and be just like her husband's dead mum. She had come a long, long way from pretending she had met celebrities who would never remember who she actually was and flirting with interviewers. Now she really could make a difference. Now she wouldn't have to pretend that she was the one that changed Procter & Gamble's minds about an advertising campaign. Instead, with this platform, she could wield real power and influence. And she could now, at long last, make a difference for all those downtrodden, oppressed and disadvantaged women around the globe. And thus, she set to work immediately, for she wanted to hit the ground running by not bothering to understand the culture of the country that she had moved to, nor the way that the institution that she had gladly and willingly joined functioned. And instead, she bullied some staff, but vigorously denied doing so, made a fellow Duchess cry, but then claimed that she was the one to be made to cry, slammed a door in the face of the Duchess and threw her flowers in the bin. She bullied a 3-year-old at a dress fitting and went and wrote on some bananas of empowerment. She repeatedly walked in front of the Queen, kept turning around on a balcony, pretended that she had no access to any support whatsoever within a privileged lifestyle, and thus this made her feel suicidal. She attended events where she thought the applause was for her when she turned up late. She regularly pushed in front of her husband and ensured that she talked over him. She made eyes at the heir to the throne, causing him to take considerable interest in his scarf. And she remained a passport-free passenger and prisoner in Frogmore that managed somehow to attend a baby shower and go to Ibiza. Most of all, she sought to change a centuries-old institution, because after all, what she wants, she gets. Surprisingly, the centuries-old institution didn't fancy changing for Janie-come-lately the narcissist, and accordingly, she was forced to run away to California via Canada, dragging her emasculated husband with her. For there she would now join the A-listers, and separate and create a new Californian court, where the sun would always shine, and she would be able to empower people without the help of the racist royal family. Each day she would eat word salad and tell people how they should live their lives. Yet the A-listers were not interested in old loose lips. Everybody laughed at her children's buck. Her stylist grimaced as she went from Fridge by Valentino to Chairman Mao Goes to New York to the Bouncing Berry of Harlem and Overripe Burst Tomato Lady. Despite her best attempts at being an angel of mercy, stale sandwiches and being a ghoul in Uvalde, and handing out decrepit vegetables in New York only brought more ridicule. She let off a bombshell with Oprah after a seagull had shat on her dress, and that rallied support amongst the brain dead, but only gave the rest of the world, led by Piers Morgan, the chance to uncover yet more of her lies. Her PR puff pieces spewed forth like a torrent of uncontrollable effluent, only to be undone by the works of Tom Barr and Valentine Lowe, and a raft of serious journalists then started to publish the reality of what she was. The world looked on, checking everything that she did and pointing out her inconsistencies because they were all haters. The world looked on, fact-checking her lies because they're all racists. And as her downward spiral increased, she then ostracized her family and that of her husband. She tried to steal the limelight by performing a hokey-cokey and banging on about a wreath concerning the death of Prince Philip. And even her magic trick, one tear, left eye, go, at Queen Elizabeth II's funeral, came to nothing, as she was demolished by the shielding Sophie and cut the crap Catherine. And so, boys and girls, let this be a lesson to you all, that being the perpetual victim, telling lies, being a talent-free zone, and playing the ism cards, takes you to a dark and lonely place. From the brightly lit, golden, shining opulence of Buckingham Palace state banquets to the embarrassment of a Midwest Marriott is what happens to deceitful duchesses of delusion. From having it all to being made to look small, you really can go from palace to piss-take.